Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I come to you today as a father, a son, a brother, and a combat veteran. My role in the combat arena didn't involve contact, with the enemy. I was tucked far away on an aircraft carrier, and my role was very dangerous. And life on the flight deck during wartime operations can be really deadly, but only by mishap, not the enemy's bad intentions. And I promise that I won't say again. America holds disability certificates for over 32,000 combat soldiers from Iraq and Afghanistan combined. My proposal today is that we, as a nation, raise the age requirement for combat soldiers. Excuse me again. The DOT reported on usmilitary.com that around 28.2% of all fatalities from both theaters were kids or teenagers, young adults that is, from 18 to 21. Ages 22 to 24 actually comprised of about 23.7%, and the total deaths in ages of 25 to 30 were like 25%. So what that basically means is each age bracket owns about a quarter percentage, 25% if you take the average of all the deaths. So what do these numbers illustrate? Well, what they do not illustrate is how many teenagers came home. It is fair to say that probably 25% of all injured veterans are between the age of 18 and 21. I would carefully assume that the percentage is much higher because the USS America in 1991, 90% of our sailors were under the age of 21, me included. Actually, Desert Storm, I turned 21 on the first day. 1 out of 3 Marines are diagnosed with PTSD and treated for it after combat. My point is simply harnessed like this. We, as a nation, do not allow our children to legally drink until the age of 21. Why? We, as a nation, understand that Americans cannot rent cars unless they are, 25? We as a nation have a general idea that young adults under the age of 21 are just not very responsible with grown-up operations, such as drinking or renting expensive equipment, or drinking and driving for that matter. The Transportation Department reports the highway and alcohol-related deaths every year. These statistics have been the driving force behind regulation that prevents teenagers from learning or harming themselves due to poor judgment and recklessness. We, as a nation, are demanding that our enlisted teenage soldiers lock and load all day on patrol, watch their buddies get blown up, live in the sand for months at a time, and lest we forget, murder other humans. Now, murder is a strong word. In combat, it's a kill. It's a shot. It's an equalization. It is what it is. It's an order. It's something that you have to live with. I propose that any American can join a force at 18. Any force, but not be put into combat forward positions until the age of 20 or 21. Karate is a hand-to-hand combat sport that can take up to 10 years to master, with a black belt rating. We as a nation send our 18-year-old children into a gunfight with less than a year of training. A better trained and more mature soldier has a better chance of surviving combat and surviving the civilian transition when coming home. When I left the Navy, my first job paid $8 an hour. I went from running crews and maintaining fighter jet aircraft to construction laborer basically overnight. I was 31 years old and understood the consequences of my chosen path. Some soldiers come home at the age of 20 or 21 years and work at Old Navy selling jeans for $9 an hour. The transition for some is unbearable. The sense of honor, pride, and confidence vanish. Some veterans get lost and some never really return. Sometimes the best service that we can do or honor our combat veterans with is the service before the war. Thank you for your time.